Only those who are over 18 years of age are eligible to open a bank account in our bank. Meeting with tutors could be arranged for students who need additional help. A science-based approach is vital for effective advancements.
The university celebrated the Earth Day by planting trees. %39.5% California residents speak a language other than English at home. Could you pass the material to students that are in your row? All filed assignments should have a full list of bibliography.
Your enrollment information, results, and fees will be available online. The mismatch between the intended and reported uses of the instrument has become clear. The United Kingdom is a constitutional monarchy and parliamentary democracy. The student welfare officer can help with questions about exam techniques.
Knife and fork should be placed next to the spoon on the edge of the table.
all organisms on Earth are made from the same basic part, mostly proteins. Proteins are the building blocks of life and can have billions of different shapes. You can imagine them as 3D puzzle pieces. There are billions of different puzzle pieces your enemies can use to construct their bodies. Why is this important? Because proteins are in a way the language of the microworld. Cells don't have eyes or ears, so to tell friend from foe, they have to touch them and recognize if their protein is part of a friend or part of an enemy. Recognizing means that cells have countless tiny devices called receptors that are able to connect with a specific protein puzzle piece. So your cells have tiny puzzle pieces on their outsides that are able to click together or recognize other protein puzzle pieces. When a cell connects together with a protein and recognizes it as enemy, it knows that it has to attack. Only if your cells can make this distinction between friend or foe is your immune system able to fight an invader. But since there are billions of possible protein puzzle pieces, this means there are billions of possible enemy puzzle pieces. This is also one of the reasons we still have to deal with diseases like the flu each year. The influenza virus mutates very rapidly, and so the proteins that make up its hull constantly change a tiny bit. The soldiers of your innate immune system have a large number of the puzzle pieces for common bacteria and viruses memorized. That's why they are your all-purpose weapons.
Three students are discussing experiences in shared housing at university.
Honestly, living in a shared flat has been a bit of an adjustment for me. The biggest issue I've had is definitely the different levels of cleanliness among my flatmates. It's really hard to relax when the common areas, especially the kitchen, are often left messy after someone cooks, and nobody seems to want to clean up.
Yeah, I totally get that, Aria. I had a similar problem last year. My flatmates were super chill, which was great. But chill often meant never doing the dishes. We ended up making a cleaning rota, and even then, it was a constant battle to get everyone to stick to it.
Wow, you guys are making me feel lucky. My current flat is actually pretty good on the cleaning front, which is a huge relief. But we've had a few clashes over noise, especially late at night. Some of my flatmates love to be loud, and it's hard to focus on studies when there's a mini party happening just down the hall.
Oh, the noise issue is real too. I've had to buy noise-canceling headphones just to get any peace and quiet to study. It feels like there's no clear boundary between social time and quiet time, and sometimes I just need a quiet space to concentrate without feeling like I'm being a party pooper.
Noise is definitely a big issue in shared living. We had one flatmate who'd game until 3 a.m. with his headset on, but his shouting would echo through the thin walls. We eventually had a sit-down about it, and things improved a bit, but it really showed how important open communication is from the start.
Open communication is key. I've learned that the hard way. Besides the noise, one thing I found tricky was the shared fridge situation. People would just eat your food, or not label anything, and it led to some awkward conversations. I wish we'd set up some ground rules about groceries and kitchen space right at the beginning.
That's a good point, Matilda. Setting expectations early seems really important. We didn't really have a proper chat about anything before moving in, and I think that's where a lot of the issues come from. I've learned I definitely need to ask about cleaning habits and noise preferences when looking for future flatmates.
Absolutely. A pre-move-in chat about lifestyles would save so much hassle. Also, budgeting for shared utilities and communal items can be tricky. We had a few arguments over who used more electricity or who should replace the toilet paper. It's the small things that add up and cause problems.
Yeah. It's all about finding people who are compatible with your living style, isn't it? If I live in another shared house, I'd probably suggest a flat meeting early on to discuss all these possible problems, from cleaning schedules to quiet hours, and even a food labeling system. It just makes things so much smoother.
Three students are discussing dealing with noisy neighbors in the dorm at university.
Honestly, I'm just so fed up with my neighbors. They're always playing loud music and having people over, even on weeknights when I'm trying to study. It's really hard for me to focus, and I'm not really sleeping well. I just don't know what to do anymore.
That sounds rough, Charlotte. Have you tried talking to them directly? Sometimes just knocking on the door and having a quick chat can really help. I had a similar problem last semester, and just asking them to turn it down at certain times actually worked for a bit.
Yeah, I agree talking to them is the first thing to try, but it doesn't always work, especially if they're not very thoughtful. If that doesn't work, you could always talk to your resident advisor, your RA. They're there to help with these kinds of things and can make sure people follow the dorm quiet hours. That's usually the official next step.
Yeah, going to the RA is an option. But from my experience, they can be kind of hit or miss. Some RAs are really good about it, but others just send a general email and nothing happens. Personally, I've just found it easier to get good noise-cancelling headphones or just go to the library when it gets too loud. It's not perfect, but it does give you some control back.
I appreciate the suggestions, George. But why should I have to leave my own room or wear headphones all the time? This is my living space, and I pay good money for it. It just feels unfair that I'm the one who has to change just because my neighbors are being inconsiderate. It's really tiring and making it hard to feel relaxed here.
Charlotte's right. It's not fair to expect you to keep moving. Most dorms have very clear quiet hours, especially after 10 p.m. If the RA isn't helping, you might need to take it higher, like to the housing office or the resident director. There are usually official ways to complain about ongoing problems, and that's when they might actually do something.
That's a good point about the official procedures. I guess if it's affecting your studies and well-being this much, it's worth trying the official route. As a last resort, if nothing else works, have you thought about asking for a room change? It's a pain, but sometimes a fresh start is the only way to get some peace.
A room change feels pretty drastic, but I might have to think about it if nothing else gets better. I really wish they would enforce the rules more, or maybe have clearer consequences. Maybe if a few of us on the floor reported them, it would be taken more seriously.
Definitely. A group complaint often matters more than just one person complaining. Living in a dorm should be a good place for learning, not a constant source of stress. It's important to stand up for your right to a peaceful living space, especially with exams coming up.
You've been feeling overwhelmed with work and personal commitments lately, realizing you need a better balance. You decide to speak with your manager about adjusting your workload or finding a more flexible working arrangement to manage stress and maintain productivity without compromising the quality of your work. What would you say to your boss?